Hello. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky. Today, weather-wise, there will be a mix of sun and clouds, highs in the low 80s and lows in the low 60s. No-name storm drenches southeast and floods towns. A little warmer here in Lexington than yesterday, up by 6 degrees. Sunrise today was at 7:23 a.m. Sunset will be at 7:40 p.m. The wind today will be around 4 miles per hour. The AQI is good at 24. Pollen is high. So if you get those little coughs and sneezes and you want to get some OTC, over-the-counter allergy medicine, now is the time. The Sideshow with Theodore Parker. If you're watching, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Correction, Monday, I may have said that it was the 15th when actually it was the 16th. And that's important because the 22nd of this month, autumn officially starts in the Northern Hemisphere. So you might want to be aware of that. Currently, the temperature is around 63 degrees here in Lexington. And the sun is already up. Stories in the news. Pipeline fire started by SUV crash, officials say. I saw this on the news. It's in Texas, Deer Park, Texas, southwest of Houston by a few miles. A towering flame gradually subsided Tuesday morning. That was around 9:30 a.m. Tuesday morning in the aftermath of a massive pipeline explosion after a vehicle drove through a fence and struck an above-ground valve, officials say. Deer Park officials said police and local FBI agents initiated investigations and found no preliminary reports that would suggest a coordinated or terrorist attack, and this appears to be an isolated incident. An evacuation area included nearly 1,000 homes, and initial shelter orders included schools. And this fire burned because of built up gases and things of that nature. Even with fire companies saturating the area, burned for 12 hours. Next, appalling and indefensible. Elon Musk incites rage online after claiming no one is trying to assassinate Biden-Harris. Following the attempted assassination of the GOP nominee, Musk took to X, formerly Twitter, where he claimed President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have not had to face assassination attempts. A user called Dodge Designer asked on X why they want to kill Donald Trump. Musk responded to the post by claiming, and no one is even trying to assassinate Biden-Harris. And the responses rolled in and built up from there. Pee Wee Longway arrested in massive $280 million drug bust. Pee Wee Longway, who is a Atlanta rapper in Georgia, was among a total of 101 people that police arrested in Columbus, Georgia on Friday in a major drug bust. In the raid, authorities seized a total, these numbers, of 7.1 kilograms of fentanyl, 57.21 kilograms of cocaine, Kilogram is approximately 2 pounds, 2.2 pounds in our measuring system, so you can translate accordingly. 7.1 kilograms of fentanyl, 57.21 kilograms of cocaine, 55,248 pounds of marijuana, where did they put it all? And 1.3 kilograms of heroin. Altogether, the drugs are reportedly valued at over $200 million. Multiple federal, local, and state agencies work together in the bust, with the FBI bringing in 250 agents and analysts to assist. Discussing Operation Sweet Silence, Sheriff Greg Countryman used the opportunity to demand an end to gang activity in Columbus. If you are involved in criminal activity, I want to send this message to you. Just because your name was not caught in the arrest yesterday, I don't want you to relapse, Countryman said as caught by Complex, a magazine. I don't want you to breathe a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief, because our work is not done. Just because you were not arrested does not mean that we're not looking at you. So don't get too comfortable, because our work is not finished. South Korea removed 1,300 cameras from its military bases after discovering they're designed to feed back to a Chinese server. So, this is not the only incident or time that this has been discovered. Former President Trump put out some legislation that two companies that produced inexpensive cameras were no longer on the to-be-used list for most American companies. Other countries have experienced this as well, finding out that cameras that they have installed feed back to a Chinese server. So there is a certain level of alertness involved in that situation. And in South Korea, the cameras that were along the border facing North Korea were not activated in the same manner as the cameras that faced on military bases in South Korea. And the news of the day: Diddy jailed. Sean Combs denied a $50 million bail on sex trafficking charges after 50 Cent mocks him for having 1,000 bottles of lube in his house. And that was on the Drew Barrymore show. That article has some details, but since there have been multiple news sources, the initial one that I read had a few more details, and it dates back to March when law enforcement raided Diddy's homes both his homes, New York and Miami, I believe. But anyway, this one is dated yesterday and was updated at 11:21 a.m. Eastern Time. Feds March raid of Sean Diddy Combs' homes unearthed 1,000 bottles of lubricant, 3 AR-15s. More details are coming to light following the March raids of Sean Diddy Combs' homes in Los Angeles. According to the grand jury indictment obtained by Page 6 on Tuesday, the feds discovered 1,000 bottles of lubricant and 3 AR-15s in the hip-hop mogul's mansions. In or about March 2024, During searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, the doc reads. And there are multiple pictures with this, so if you want to access it, please be my guest. It continues, per the indictment, Combs 54 and members of his Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, and personal assistants, facilitated the freak-offs. The bar gatherings thrown by the Revolt founder were allegedly filled with drugs and sex by booking hotel rooms and stocking them with supplies. Per the indictment, the rooms were filled with controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting for the bacchanals. Combs staff was also instructed to clean the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arrange travel for the victims, order IV fluids, and order large sums of cash for Combs to allegedly pay the commercial sex workers. During these freak-offs, the Bad Boy Records founder allegedly hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair, according to the indictment. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs. The formal charge reads. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Per the indictment, the assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. The dad of 7 also allegedly threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak-offs. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security, or without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Excuse me, sorry. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. The indictment also says law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine. More pictures. Per the docs, members of Combs' entourage often carried guns, and the Act Bad rapper allegedly used a firearm to intimidate and threaten others, including victims and witnesses to his abuse. On Monday, the I'll Be Missing You MC was arrested by federal agents at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City and charged with 3 counts: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. In a statement, Combs' lawyer, Mark Agnafilio, slammed his client's arrest, saying, "They were disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office." Combs is currently facing at least 8 lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, rape, sexual misconduct, and more. My own comment on this well, he's denied all allegations, is that if he's convicted, he could face 15 years to life in prison on these charges. So, we'll see. And today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. This is The Sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. That's it. Hashtag.